Let's do a couple. V
for Vegas scissors?
Yeah, V for Vegas scissors.
Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Dude, now this is getting weird.
There we go.
He's like, give me your wallet. And I'm like, what? And we swapped wallets, and Chad went in and took the urine test, and I got the job because he didn't smoke weed. And so
You sister to drug test?
we did. Yeah.
Yo, what up? Shanks is in the building, and we got a special presentation, kind of like a show today for y'all. This is Shanks and Friends on the run, and I got two of my closest homies in the whole wide world, some of my cellmates from county and fed. Give it up for Shotgun and Redbone, y'all.
Yo, good to see you, man.
Yo, how you guys living, huh?
We're just glad we're not inside no more.
Yeah, it's good to be out, right?
Man, I need to get me, I got too big. Look at this jumpsuit.
Man, you looking fat as hell in that jumpsuit, dog.
You definitely didn't skip no meals in the chow hall. Hey, worry about yourself.
Yeah, man, that should be popping, and not in the good ways, dog.
I need to pop something, man. Tell you that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, it do get lonely in there.
Yeah, when you got a cellmate like this guy's over there, I don't know what you was doing on that top bunk. Handling business.
Yeah, I mean, you know, y'all out here like the creaking and stuff, like in the middle of the night, and I'll be like, yo, is everything cool up there? And I was like, I think they jerking off up there.
Well, sometimes I was, you know what I'm saying? See, he was selfish a lot of times, so you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, now, did y'all ever, I did this one time, this thing, you ever have like a foofy where you put like a towel in between the mattress, and then you grab some shampoo or some lotion, and then you kind of foof it out? You ever do that?
Nah, I need to foof up out of this jumpsuit. Shit's tight.
Yeah, yo, homie, you might want to unzip that a little bit, player. Because
I let them nipples breathe, son.
Yeah, that's looking.
If I let too much out, y'all might see that Alabama white snake come out.
Yo, where y'all originally from? Y'all never told me that.
More from Arizona.
You from Arizona, for real?
Yeah. Buckeye, Arizona. It's a piece of shit town just outside Phoenix.
Okay, I like that.
Population like 14 teeth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I'm wearing a grill for that reason, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Cover up them pearly whites, right?
I mean, yeah, you know, when people see that you got white teeth, like, and not, you know, like a grill, you know, they might start judging you that you don't have as hard of a character as you would like to be putting out there. But Shank's hard as hell, y'all. Everybody know that. We know that. Yeah, we seen you at work. We know. I mean, I stabbed both of y'all. That was the way I initiated you into the cell. Hey, well, we're glad you did. You should have went a little easier on Chad. He was crying all night in his cell. Redbone, what did you go in for? You told me a long time ago, but I forgot, homie. Basically, it started with a beer run. And then I just started stealing other shit besides that, you know what I'm saying? And then it went from that to child support. And then it went from stealing like ATMs. And then I stole like an ATM. Whole ATM machines? I ain't trying to break into it. I took the whole motherfucker. Yo, you strong as hell, yeah, he walk out with the whole motherfucker. I told him, I was like, listen, you better get into check fraud. Check fraud's the way to go. That's how I got caught up, allegedly. Oh, so you a bitch. Yeah, that's right. I don't care. I didn't do no crimes like y'all. I was doing white-collar crimes, trying to get into Club Fed. Then I fucked around with him and stole an ATM on a Saturday. And there was no money in it because we took it from the 99-cent store. Well, it don't matter what kind of collar you was. We all orange collar now. You know what I'm saying? Popping them. Popping them. You know what I'm saying? But, well, what exactly did you do? I mean, I was raping. Oh. Well, hey, that's a strong move. I mean, I can tell why you went. You know, it was good when it was good, but you know, when the getting was get, you know, you gotta get. Man, we encountered a lot of gangs inside prison. I know it. That's how I got this chest tattoo. They did it with a guitar string and toothpaste and ashes. A guitar string, toothpaste and ashes? Yep, straight up in the yard. Was that from the custodian Jill that died? No, the other one. Oh, damn. Cletus? Yep, straight up. Damn. He would do it on breaks and shit. It took about 17 years, but I finally got it
have done.
Yep, I told him instead of using that toothpaste on your chest, why don't you try putting it in your fucking mouth? Them teeth is fucked up.
Dang, man.
It looked like he been chasing parked cars his whole life, eating rocks.
Man, he roasting your ass. How you gonna respond to that?
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, hey, don't make me bring up old stories about you. You know what I'm saying? To the
Bring him up. Bring him on. That's what
come
we
on,
doing
bring
here.
him up. Bring him up. Bring him up. Bring him up. Bring him up.
Bring him up. Bring him up.
I'm just saying, like, this guy took showers multiple times a day. What was he doing in there? I know he wasn't washing his feet because they smell like old cheese sticks. I was washing everything but my feet.
Yo, why you winking like that?
Yeah,
I don't like
come
that.
on, man. You
I don't like. Yeah, well, I don't like how you winking like that.
Yeah,
Dog.
hey, we've been locked up a long time, man. I'm just trying to get out there. You guys player hating on me.
I mean, I didn't try it till I knocked it, but then I knocked it and then I tried it and I was like, okay.
Did you knock it out?
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm. I have no doubt.
The male booty is very similar to the female booty. It's just what I'm saying is what life is.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what you do. You put your thumb in there, and then they can't get away from you. You're like, hey, where are you going, Redbone? Where are you going? Where are you going? No, that might have been Busy Bone or something. It wasn't Redbone.
That wasn't that bone?
Nah.
He put his bone in his eye.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do.
That's what he's trying to say, yeah.
Nah, I'm vegan. I don't mess with bones.
You don't mess with any bones?
No.
You bone out at Buffalo Wild Wings?
That's it. I'm
Okay, I
bone
see
out.
you, dog. Yeah, you bone out.
I say, look, I'm vegan. You know what I'm saying? I used to tell people like, hey, I don't eat meat. I'm saying, hey, you're in luck. My dick's made out of green beans.
Okay, man. I haven't never looked at it like that.
Yeah.
That's hot, man.
Dick made of green beans?
That's
My
cool.
dick's made of green beans. So if you're ready for a salad, I got you. Nah,
Yo,
I got a sore throat.
You call your dick the Jolly Green Giant?
I do sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
I mean, I'm not like a little skinny guy like you. Skinny guys like you got like 11-inch hammers. You know what
But
I'm
I'm wiry, you know what I'm saying?
saying? Yeah. Well, a guy like you got a 3 potato, 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato. We're not blessed in that.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
I
we're-
appreciate you giving me the props that I deserve.
Hey, I seen you in the shower. I was like, God damn, this guy's swinging a big old Pringle can.
I mean, there's multiple reasons why they call me Shanks, you know what I'm saying?
I believe it. I believe it.
I mean, stabbing bitches with this Klondike bar, you know what I'm saying?
Is that why you never had a cellmate?
The problem was since I was getting locked away for rape, they figured that I should be kept separate from other cellmates to stop perpetuating the crime that I was in there for. So yeah, it was a problem originally.
Yeah.
But it has been fun seeing you at rec hours and stuff like that.
Yeah, playing ping pong and whatnot.
Oh yeah, handball, come on.
Yeah, let me tell you something, man. It's just good to see you now. I mean, I think you need to probably get that lazy eye fixed, but besides that, man, you looking good, man.
What you
looking
talking
good.
about?
I don't know. I'm over here. Look over here this way. Oh, that's right.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Oh, there you is.
Yeah.
I see you.
Oh, I'm still here.
Oh yeah, you sit there. I
back
thought
for
you
the
left
first
for a second.
Nah. I'm about.
I thought you got let out and then let back in and then let out again.
By next week, he'll be back. Nah, I ain't never going back. I ain't never going back. I'm a changed man.
I mean, honestly, that's what all the homies say, though. We all say we not going back, but there's a good chance we might be going back.
If I go back, I'm getting a bigger jumpsuit. You definitely need to maybe skip a meal or two.
I mean, what size did you say that you
well,
was?
I told them I needed extra large, and they gave me this fucking thing.
I think that, dog, I mean, I don't want to.
The only thing I like is when I walk around, everyone know I got a little dick. Everyone know.
Hold up.
Let them know, hey, I got a little dick. What you gonna do about it?
Hold the hell up. You straight up go up to other gangsters and you say, I got a little dick?
I let them know, hey, look, I ain't got no money on my books, but I got a little dick.
What's your favorite thing to buy? Like, I mean, cause like for me, like sometimes I make like a jail gumbo kind of soup where I get like beef jerky and like ramen noodles and like different
spicy
seasonings.
Cheetos.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw in a
Those
dill
flaming hots.
pickle.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
For me, it's most of the time it's throat lube, water. You know what I'm saying? I like having that throat lube.
Wait, what the hell? You call it throat lube?
Throat lube.
That's the nastiest damn thing I ever heard.
Throat
People
lube.
call
That's
water.
throat lube. That way, hey, they warm up the water, they gargle it, and then that way when you're hammering down, it feels just like a vagina.
Damn, that was the realest analogy I've ever heard in my life, and I will not be able to get that out of my head later.
Throat lube. Throat lube.
Throat lube.
Hashtag. Throat lube.
Oh, we hashtagging in this bitch right now?
Oh, we hashtag. I just learned about this.
Did you just
Yeah, I got 4 Twitter followers, man.
You got 4?
Yeah,
I still got the egg. I don't know how to get the egg off my Twitter profile, dog.
Man, this guy, this guy's crazy. What'd you bring inside jail this time? You was bringing shit in your man purse.
Oh man.
What the hell's a man purse?
No, it was my prison wallet.
Oh, your prison wallet.
Yeah,
Oh, I got one of those.
Yeah, I got one of these. This ain't. How'd you get that in here? That's a big.
There's a big ass harmonica, homie.
Hey, in my prison wallet. That's how I got it in there.
Wait.
We love that Twitter. Man, when we got them cell phones inside there, Chad got that girl to bring in them Cricket wireless phones, boy. I don't know how he got in 42 of them. I guess his prison wallet's pretty big.
Well, you know, they call it the Gucci. It's the Gucci, you know. It's one of them big purses.
Is that why they say keep it Gucci?
Yeah, that's why they say it, to keep it Gucci.
Okay, that makes sense.
You keep it in your butthole.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But there ain't no shame in that. You know what I'm saying? How else you going to get 42 cell phones in, plus earbuds and all the other stuff?
I mean, one time I smuggled in a full tuxedo for my friend's funeral in prison.
Oh, my God. My brother got one of them fucking Russian dolls where you take them apart and there's like 20 dolls. I said, what you need that for? No reason. He just likes it up there.
That's called a matryoshka. Little no facts with Shanks.
Damn.
I'll be reading. I'll be going to the library on my downtime sometime. People think I'm a dumb, illiterate bitch, and I'll be reading all the time.
So what's the craziest crime you've ever done?
Okay. One time, I murdered a fool because he said that I had a cross eye. And I said, I don't know what the hell you talking about. This kid was 7 years old. It was a playground. Not my finest moment. But, you ask my craziest crime? He went around on a merry-go-round, and I shanked him every single time he went around on a loop. Shank, shank, shank.
That's what he get.
And that was the day that I was born, and they called me Shanks because they saw me shanking that kid on that playground.
Fuck that little kid. That's what that little kid deserved.
Yeah.
Wow.
We all got origin stories, and that's Shanks.
Man.
Up in H-Town.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are wearing the Houston Astros colors.
I'm from Houston, baby. You ever do that scissor? You ever do that lean?
Oh, yeah. We've done it twice. I think Paul Wall gave us some.
Did for real?
Yeah, that lean, I don't know. Lean make you hungry.
Could be purple. Could
I mean,
be pink.
obviously, anything makes Shotgun hungry over here. He busting out his fat ass suit over here.
It's going to take a shotgun to blow you out of that suit.
I mean, Shotgun looks so fat, he gets so tired in that suit. This guy's barely awake right now.
He holding his breath because if he fucking sneezes, he's going to blow that suit wide
He's gonna
open.
blow that zipper right out. He's gonna pop me in the eye. He's gonna straighten out my other eye, homie.
You can't have that. Oh, shotgun getting upset.
No, I'm not upset.
Just holding your breath.
I'm just hungry.
Yeah, we know.
Shotgun's so fat, he's trying to conserve his energy right now.
I'm like a solar panel. Sun's going down.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
That's good.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Y'all hear that?
what you tripping on?
Is that's the ghetto bird?
We got a ghetto bird.
I ain't
Oh
go-
shit, do you hear those sirens?
No,
Yo.
We gotta go.
Hey, yo.
Follow us on Twitter, on IG. We gotta bounce out of here. Bye. Shit, it's a bus. Look at it. Come on.
Clap in front of your face. Yeah, just one. Perfect. Love it. I'm asking for claps. You guys start giving me a round of applause. It's like, man, Jeremiah's really insecure on his own podcast. He's asking for claps and stuff like that.
Studio warm up.
Yeah. We're doing warm up for ourselves for the podcast.
Who's ready to party tonight?
We are.
Let's do this.
Yeah, man, it's good to have you guys here in the studio.
Man, thanks for having us to the studio.
Of course, yeah. It was. I don't know what was going on earlier. Some inmates just escaped out of my garage. I hope they didn't steal anything.
We were nervous. They came running by us. We were like,
They looked a little shady, man.
They did.
I didn't trust them at all.
Yeah. So luckily, you guys got in here safe.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
We feel safer now. Thank you.
Yeah.
We
for
saw
sure.
the helicopter and we knew. I was like, man, we better get in the studio.
You know, it's weird that they were doing a podcast while they were on the run. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like of all the things.
Yeah.
Talking about multitasking.
Yeah, like why would you do that? Like if you just got out of prison, why would you like sit down to do a podcast?
I don't know. Social media numbers, I guess.
I get, dude, it must be hard out here in the streets.
It really is.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Smash Brothers here in the building.
Yeah.
Been wanting to have you guys on for a long time. We originally met, I believe, through our brother Ralphie May.
I think so.
Yes, we
And
did.
yeah, just doing shows, and we just stayed in touch over the years and become friends. And I just did your amazing Dirty show again out
Thank you.
at the
Yeah.
Ontario Improv.
Thanks for coming out, making
Dude,
the
of
journey
course.
out there. It was a
Absolutely.
good show. You did great.
Yeah, dude, those shows are fun, man. They're
Yeah.
wild.
They're wild, but they're fun, dude. We've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, that audience, it's fun because it's interesting. It's one of those shows where it's kind of the opposite, where if I stay clean for too long, you start to lose them a little bit.
You will.
Right.
You really do. Like,
We've
it's
had clean
interesting.
comics who, because you don't have to be dirty, but we've had clean comics lose them. One comic who
You got
Brody came in the first time and he bombed horribly.
How dare you.
And he wouldn't even take our money. We're like, hey, Brody, he's like, I'm coming back next month. And he came
I
back
will
next.
conquer this room.
And he did.
Yeah.
He did.
He
And
blew the room apart.
He did the second time and destroyed. We gave him double the money because we were like, hey, you didn't take the money last month.
Yeah.
Take the money for this month and last month, but he wouldn't take our money. I mean, what a gentleman that guy is.
I mean, that's nice. I've taken money on some gigs.
You got no business,
bro. Like that, I ate it so hard where I can barely look the person in the eye while I take the money, and I'm like almost apologizing.
We've
Oof.
been there too.
It just happens. It's so awkward.
Yeah.
I did one. I had one bomb that was so bad. I opened for this British comic. He was literally in the States only for a few days from the UK, and I was not his audience's cup of tea. I just was not at all what they wanted or expected. And throughout my set, I had to cold open for half an hour. They had technical difficulties the entire time I was on stage. Mic cutting out. I went without the mic. Then the lights started cutting out. And then it's like, okay, well, what are we doing here at this point? And then I did the best that I could. And it was one of those, I took the check. I was like, I'm sorry.
I'm going to cash this.
I'm so sorry for what just happened, but I'm going to the bank right now.
Right, before
I
they
need
bounce.
this. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
We've had those too. Just 2 weeks ago, we did a show, and literally our host went up, fine. Feature act went up. The minute he says, how's everybody doing? His mic goes out, and then my mic goes out, and then the whole sound system went out. So there was nothing, and we had to do an hour.
So
of
we
yell.
just acapellaed. We're in a bar and people were watching the Dodger game. It was one of those nights where after you're done with your set, you're just sweaty. You totally earned that payday that day, and we felt good going home that we gave it our all, but. It was, man.
I know. It's one of those things where you're like, we did what we could, but like the comic inside of you is like, if this would have happened, I would have killed. You know what I mean? You're still like wanting to get them no matter what. You're like, if this would have, you know.
Yeah. But it's okay. We took the money.
I mean, yes, that's what you got to do at the end of the day. I mean, we're hired for the gig no matter what, and we just give our all, you know?
I was in the parking lot scanning with my app, depositing that check from the parking lot. I was like, man, we're going to scan this check.
A good feature now?
It's
a
greatest.
game changer.
We do
now.
it right away.
Well,
Dude,
years
of
ago,
course.
trying to find your bank in, I don't know, Ohio, Wells, unless it's Wells, one of the big banks,
right?
Good luck. And so years back when we were on tour, it was challenging.
Well, dude, if
trying
you
to
hit the road and then like you're trying to cash it a couple days later, if that bounces, it's such a hassle to try to get a hold of them and try to get them to cut a new check and everything.
That's
So
how we do it. That's why we started doing it right away. And it is what it is. But like, man, you cashed that quick. I'm like, yeah, we did.
yeah.
Yeah, we did.
We're loading our merch and it's already in our account.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're handing it to you, you're scanning it while they're handing
exactly.
it to you.
Little signature. And boop. Technology.
Ready to go. I
Love
know,
it.
it's crazy, man.
It is.
How long were you touring with Ralphie for?
Actively, I would say, his last 3 specials, we toured that whole time with them. So
more than 5-6 years.
It's got to be so cool. Like I love. I've seen it at the store a handful of times with different comics there, but I love seeing comics build their hour, and you get to see the pieces really come together like Tetris along the way. Because you're like, I saw that bit when he just riffed one line,
totally,
and then it's a chunk of the set now, and it's just so cool to see like kind of the behind the scenes progression of all that.
Yeah, with him, we would take notes for him when he was on stage because he wasn't a joke writer. Ralphie wouldn't. He didn't have a joke book or premises. Everything was off the top of his head.
And he'd do 2.5 hours every show, 2-3 times a night. We're doing 45, 30 in front of him. So then he would just say, hey, take notes so I remember what I said. And that's how we built his 2 Netflix specials. We would just go, hey, you need to do this bit tonight. Remember you said this about whatever. And he's like, oh, yeah, baby.
I did say that. Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, I love that one, sugar baby.
Yeah. So then that's how we did it. And then the best part about that, and it's funny for me, is he thanks us at the end of his Netflix special, and he spells Cory's name wrong on purpose.
Always. He would always spell my name wrong on my paycheck.
Or he would write Fat Cory. Like, send him a check or something and write Fat Cory. And Cory's like, I can't cash it. And you're fat. What do you
and
call
how
me?
can you call me fat when he's fat? And he's like, oh, fat people love calling other people fat. And but yeah, I still have the last check he wrote us, and he wrote "Too Fat Cory," and I never even cashed the flipping thing. I was just like, it's such a classic Ralphie thing to do.
That's amazing, man.
You know.
I love that.
Yeah, it was fun times. It was being on that tour bus with him was probably some of the best times of our life. Just being alone with just us three and a tour manager and a bus driver, you know?
I mean, dude, I know you guys have incredible stories,
for sure.
like along just every stop of that tour. It's got to be so crazy,
Yeah,
man.
every. I remember one of the times. I don't think Cory was there. You did San Diego with Ralph. I came down, and then I was on my anniversary date with my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're going up, baby." I go, "No, you already got a guy." I go, "I'm just chilling." I go, I'm gonna have a beer." He goes, "Nah, baby, I pay you every month. You're going on stage." I'm like, "By myself?" He's like, "Go." And I'm like, "Oh man." So I remember we hung out. We had a great time with you that American Comedy Company, whatever company.
Yeah.
I just remember certain little times like that where we got to meet people like you. And there's other comics along the road that we've met in Minnesota. And we stayed in contact. And it's kind of cool, like Miami and Ricky Cruz. There's all these guys that, because of Ralph, we met these comics that we're going to stay friends with, we hope, for forever. And that's just because of Big Boy. You know,
I know.
doing that.
Well, I mean, I honestly feel bonded with you guys because we have that connection.
Totally.
Like, I mean, like as soon as we met through him and became friends, and then obviously he unfortunately passed away a few years after that. You know, I've never had, and I think we both share this as well. Like I've never had a comic fight for me like Ralphie did.
Yeah, he was fighting for you for the Comedy Store. He would tell us about that on the bus, you know.
Yeah.
He said you're very talented and he wants to get you in and help you get as much in there as he could.
Yeah, I mean, he a couple times he went in there and yelled at the staff,
Of course he did.
called them N-words.
I know.
Even though they were white people.
I know.
He thought that was hilarious.
I know. He would always embarrass us with that stuff. I was like, Ralph, calm down with that.
I think he was doing it because he loved you, you know, and he was going in there
yeah.
and he was going in there to be a voice for you.
Dude, he went to bat for me, and you know, I've had a lot of people vouch for me over the years, which I'm extremely grateful for.
Amen, yeah.
And but none to the point where he's like, I will not perform in I think the main room until Jeremiah's passed here. And he didn't do like he would go up in the OR, but he's like, I'm not doing the main room. He's
Well,
like,
we
I'm
would
not
sit
doing-
at the bar on the outside. I remember one time we went and saw you, and we were sitting on the outside. He goes, "We're not even going in." And I
on
go,
the
"Why?"
patio,
We're on
front
the patio.
patio.
And he goes, "We're not even going in. I'm really going to ruffle feathers tonight." And he's being loud. You know how he was? He was smoking on the patio.
Yeah,
He's
like-
just raising hell on purpose. They're like, "Ralph, you got to calm down." He goes, "No, I don't. No, I don't." And he's just raising hell on purpose. That's the kind of guy he was. you
Yeah.
know? He was for us. He was the greatest. He helped us get on TV. If it wasn't for him and Andrew Dice Clay, we would have never been on TV. So we're lucky that we had those connections with those people.
Well, that was a cool special that you guys were a part of with Dice. It
Yeah.
wasn't Eleanor on there as
Eleanor,
well? Yeah.
Jason Rouse, Eric
Myers,
Colin Kane. Yeah, it was a heck of the Blue Show. It was on Showtime.
Yeah.
It was at the Santa Barbara Comedy Festival, and for Dice and all these guys to vouch for us, and we were chosen from the West Coast or whatever. It was an honor and intimidating too, because you're on this lineup and everybody's destroying.
Yeah.
And you're watching, you know how filming takes hours, and Dice is like, "You guys are going to close it out." And I
We're
remember
thinking, why us? We're going to close it after 3 hours of filming? You know, 'cause
Yeah.
like, the camera stopped. You know, the whole thing that happens.
But he got the crowd pumped back up, and we went out there and did our thing. But definitely a fun but intimidating experience for all these killers.
Dude,
you
of
know?
course, like the lineups is already great. If you haven't seen like the comics that they listed on that lineup, you got to check out the special.
Definitely.
All these guys are killers, let alone that's one element, but being brought up by a legend like Dice
I know.
and being like, you know, I'm putting my name on this.
Yeah.
My seal of approval on you guys.
Right.
So like and I'm trusting you to close this thing.
Yeah.
We were.
So that's high praise, but it's also, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we got there at like 10 a.m. or I don't know, early in the morning, and they tell us that. So all day we were it was just in our
Yeah,
heads.
of course.
And I remember ironing our clothes, going, "Oh boy, what a day!" You know.
Well, then he was saying, like, the production people are like, he's doing for you what Dangerfield did for him, and he's never hosted a comedy special before. I don't think he has since. He picked us all. His friend Wheels Parisi was there too. I forgot to mention him. But and then when he came backstage, everyone just kind of went quiet, you know, because he's a legend.
Of course,
and then,
everybody's head turns is like, oh, what's he gonna say? What's he gonna do?
And he
Yeah.
comes and sits right next to us. He's like, "Hey, twins, what's going on?" And he's just totally not on stage guy, just the nicest guy to us. And for us, we're gonna remember it forever. You know, and every time we see Eleanor, we have a special bond with her too.
Of course.
She's on our show this next week at the Dirty Show. But meeting those people and just seeing comedy, you get to see like this is why these guys are on TV. They're killers. They're absolute beasts. And maybe not everybody knows who Eric Myers was, but I'm telling you, he was the first one to go out and he set the tone. He blew the whole room apart.
Oh, dude.
He blew the room apart.
That guy would destroy.
Yes.
Destroy.
It was crazy.
Like people had tears. Like you can see if you watch the thing again, that people have tears. They're laughing so hard at him, you know, with him actually.
I remember when he came in town from Florida originally, and he literally, I've never seen anybody get passed at all the clubs so quickly. I've never seen it where it's just like instant, like yes, right away. Because it was undeniable. It was just like, regardless of if it was your flavor or not, it's like the laughs show at the end of the day.
Yeah, and his laughs per minute or whatever, it was up there.
Taco Man! It's just like, oh my, this guy's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, we would watch him, and it would inspire us, especially when you watch someone destroy. There's nothing more inspiring. Like when we watch Rogan and Tom Segura and these guys just Jesselnick destroy the Comedy Store. It's just impressive. It's just, you go home and you write more material.
Of course, because you're seeing like the laughs per minute and you're like, wow, okay, I'm getting about half of that right now with this new bit I'm working on. How do I get it to that?
Totally inspiring. That's why pre-COVID, going to the store on a Tuesday night was like going to college at USC.
Dude, every room sold
Every
out.
room.
Crazy.
We would go from the belly room and we'd go down to the OR. We'd go here and
we go see Punky Johnson at the bar. We say hi to her, and then I don't know, just all our little friends. We'd go and see there, and it was just amazing. We're like, oh, in 10 minutes, so and so is going to be up in the belly room. Let's go watch
Chappelle would show up at like 1:30 and stay on till 4. I mean, crazy hours.
Oh yeah, I got bumped many times.
Yeah, us too.
Dude, you know you get jaded when you're like, Chappelle's here again. I'm trying to get my 15 in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But totally inspiring. And we would just sit back and just like in awe. And you know, we've been in comedy 17 years and we're still in awe watching these masters of our craft.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you guys did my show Stand Up on the Spot, and you guys destroyed, man. That was great.
We love improv and like off the cuff. I mean, we did that in high school all 4 years. We did plays. In college we did
What kind of plays did you do in high school and college?
Good question. All kinds of different ones. Chad and I wrote a play where Chad was a little boy and he had an imaginary...
He was a little person. He was
I was probably 15, but I played like a 6-year-old kid with an imaginary friend
named Silly Billy that lived under the bed. And I remember during all the practice, Chad never cried. And then during the performance, Chad just got into the moment and literally cried about his and the whole audience started crying. And I remember looking at him, I'm on stage and I'm like,
he wants to break my balls and make me laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it. And then our teacher had tears. When I got off, we blew the room apart. Everyone's crying. And then I go, sorry for crying. She goes, are you serious? She goes, that was so heartfult. You didn't tell me you were going to do that. I go, I just felt it. Like it just happened, you know? And
that's when we knew we wanted to do stand up or something in the theater arts realm. Not so much, maybe not movies, but just
you're like, if I can make somebody feel something like that, that kind of power, that's pretty incredible.
I was impressed, brother. I remember looking over at, and afterwards I'm like, what'd you think about it? He's like, I was legit sad that the imaginary character was going away. I just 100% got into it. And from that moment on, then we would just commit to the character and not, even if you break character, get back into it and just stay dedicated to it.
But the drama teacher would separate us because if they go pair up, we would always pair up. And they're like, no, you guys need to be with someone else. Like, I don't care about nobody else in this class.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be with my brother because I know that we got this. Like, I don't care about Jill. I don't care about her.
I took a photography class and a speech class and a bowling class with my sister, my younger sister, in college.
Right.
She graduated high school early and she's like, I want to take classes with you. And some brothers and sisters would be like, I'm not taking a class with you, but I'm like, that would be dope. Let's do it. So we would always try to make each other laugh and stuff and get each other to break, like to get each other in trouble in a college class. And they're literally like, what are you, this is college. Why are you doing this to us? Like, so they would have to separate us in these classes as with full grown adults. And they're like separating me and my sister.
They wouldn't even let us sit next to each other.
Yeah, pretty soon. And then the teacher's like, hey, I'm moving Chad to 5th period or whatever. And I'm like, I was devastated. I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
I was like, that's preposterous. Like, I was just so flabbergasted. I remember we would still pop in on each other.
But then when we got to college, we laughed. We got our schedules. And I go, because we could sign up for the same class. I go, they don't even know what's about to
it's about to go down.
It's about to go down. Yeah. And the first time they did improv and we just they called it the hot seat. And they put one of us on the stage, and everyone can ask you anything for the whole period. I was just asking him shit like crazy stuff that he doesn't even want to answer.
Just fabricating answers, you
Right,
know.
right.
And some people would get super nervous with that. With that, we were just like eating it up. We were like, you could throw any question at us and we'll come up with something, you know.
So, but we've always wanted to do stuff like that. You know, we did Wizard of Oz, played the Cowardly Lion. We did all kinds of different I think Little Shop of Horrors.
What were you in Wizard of Oz when he was Cowardly Lion?
So that one, I didn't. Chad landed the good part, so I was a tree with the apples. I didn't get to land a good part.
Is that hard as being a twin? Like
Yeah,
oh,
competition.
My bro got a lead role, and I'm a freaking tree now.
It's happened a lot in our lives, and I'll tell you after this. But yeah, I got some tree role where I only had like, hey, and I got to throw 2 apples, and Chad's like, oh, you know, you better work on your character. And I was just like, I was so flipping, you know, fucking upset with him. I was just like, what do you mean work on it, you know? And
the teacher's like, well, in case he doesn't make it, you're his backup. He's like, I'm not remembering these lines. Like, I'm a tree, you know?
Yeah.
But this guy's gotten chosen when we did Last Comic Standing, and we didn't get very far, but we slept on the sidewalk at Melrose Improv. We were like number 2 in line for days, and we got into that showcase that night. We got booted out because they said don't curse, and we ended up cursing and broke the rule. As we were leaving, we got invited to do a show later, was Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? But they told us it was Show Me the Money. And we go to the audition, and they said the show's Show Me the Money, and they choose Chad. And I'm like, what? I'm like, again? I'm like, this guy keeps getting parts over
But
me.
I had his back. I said, nah, we do it together or I can't do it, you know? And they're like, well, we've never had 2 people on it. You know, we've only taped 3 episodes. We did it when it was a pilot, before it was even on TV. So I got them to redo the contract, and Cory and I got to do it together.
And we were like on the 5th episode of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth
That's
Grader?
a real brother right there.
Yeah, bro.
That's a real brother.
I got us $175,000 that day.
Well, he didn't. I answered all the questions.
That's
and I
editing.
got us.
That's
And that
editing.
is-
That was his pulling his
Thank
weight.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. That's a reason why you're bringing me in to the show.
I'm the brain.
Oh, yeah. And I remember telling him when we were driving home that night from Manhattan Beach, I'm like, you're lucky I was here. You would have won 10 grand if it was just you.
Yeah.
And your silly brain.
What were some of the questions that were on there?
The one we'll never forget was for 300 grand, from 175 to 300, was what U.S. president was first to win the Nobel Peace Prize? Well, we went into commercials just like you. Just
pondering like who could
you
that
know, because
possibly
it could be. I mean, are we going way back? You
right.
know,
Nobel
we're like,
Peace.
well, we're throwing out the obvious. We're like, well, it wasn't Nixon. It wasn't,
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
this guy.
And Jeff Foxworthy came up to us and he was like, hey, if you guys don't know, I'm telling you, this is the 5th episode we've taped. You've by far made more money than anyone. Don't be afraid to say you're not smarter. He's all, these kids are brilliant kids. They study. You do not get to study anything.
Yeah.
He's like, tap this button and say you don't know. He's all, but if you do know, I want you to win. He's all right, we're going back from commercial.
Or he's like, or if you're into gambling, give it a shot, but you'll drop down to
Yeah.
25 grand. And we were like 175 to 25. We were like, hey, we came back from commercial. We're like, hey, we're not as smart as a 5th grader. And they go to the kid for the answer. And the answer was. And the answer was Teddy Roosevelt.
I would have never guessed that.
Us either.
I would have never. I mean, you
For
guys did the right
U.S.
thing.
parks, you know, because he was all about national parks and U.S.,
Yeah.
you know, state parks and all that kind of thing, national monuments, Joshua Tree, you know, et cetera. But we'll never forget it now.
What do you remember the question before that got you to 175,000?
Mount Everest.
Yeah, no, it was the Himalayas.
Yeah, so it was the mountain range. You know, they were asking us geography questions, and we purposely, because you could jump around, so we were like, okay, let's start with,
Sure.
you know,
let's start knocking out the stuff that we know. And
Yeah.
Yeah, like what do you call something about where ants live or something? What's it called?
A colony.
Yeah, a colony of ants.
And you know, a navigational tool, but that's also used for drawing, the compass.
Gotcha.
You know,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like random
So they
junk.
throw
Like,
softballs at first, but then it's crazy. Like, how do we know about Teddy
Dude,
Roosevelt?
that's what. Yeah.
And they don't let you study. When you go there, you're separated. There's no phones. There's none of that. And then they just say, you ready to go on stage? And then they literally just bring you out on stage. Live studio audience, lights, camera, action.
we
And
didn't
these
even
kids-
know it was called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? We thought it was called Show Me the Money. We didn't even know Jeff Foxworthy was involved. We come walking out and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm like, whoa, Jeff
Yeah.
Foxworthy, there's kids. Like, what the
Yeah,
heck?
like, what is going on?
Yeah. And so the
Now, are
intimidation
you
factor.
guys twins or what's going on here? You
Yeah.
look pretty similar.
It's so funny because he kept teasing us that he was going to bring out the Olsen twins. And we're like, we hope you do.
Yeah, bring him out. out.
We're like, bring them out right now.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And they made us promise that when we went to commercial, though, you can't tell him you're a comedian. You can't use this for whatever. And we're like, oh. So I said I was a construction worker.
Yeah, they made up jobs for us or whatever.
Isn't that weird how they always want these real people? Like anytime I've like done those game shows, like, and I was like doing comedy, they're like, what did you do before it?
Exactly.
And I was like, I was a barista. They're like, you're a barista. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, okay.
Yeah, and then they told us, they even came to our trailer later and they're like, hey, you're next to Jeff's. Because we thought we were getting a check cut. That's not how it works. They're like, oh, the check's in the mail if it airs.
6 months later.
Yeah, so we left there. We won 175 and we couldn't tell anyone and no check. And we waited 6 months and we were watching the NBA finals and they were like, this new show, Are You Smarter? And we're like, is it us? Oh, it's not. So game 2, is it us? No. And game 3, no. And then, or no, game 3. Then they were like, at the very end, they're like, ladies and gentlemen, next week on Are You Smarter? Is it a double dose of dummies? And they were totally like just ripping us apart.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just looked at each other and just started crying because we were like,
Yeah,
We
you're like-
knew a paycheck was coming, a fat paycheck
Yeah.
to us. I mean, $87.5 each. And we took that money and invested and we kept chasing Ralphie. And this goes back to Ralph. We would chase Ralphie around the country on our own dime because we knew our comedy wasn't to his level.
Sure.
But I figure if we hit every coffee shop and pizza joint and, you know, all the C and B, the comedies, I mean, all these C, B, A- clubs, we would just get booked. And finally, he started giving us opportunities. And if we bombed, he would just rip our set apart and we would rework it. And he's like, okay, maybe I'll see you in New Mexico. We're like, oh, you'll see us in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And we would just chase
El Paso.
We would just look at his lineup and we would just chase him around the country. And after a while, he just started inviting us. And then
So how many shows did you guys like go following him around before he's like, all right, like I'll.
year for a long time.
Yeah, like, and sometimes not even get in to see him because the place was sold out, but we were in the same town. We would text him. He was too busy.
Or
But
we'd
he
meet
saw,
after.
well, he would see our drive. He would see our diligence. He was impressed by that. And he
Dude,
was
of
always
course.
like, he couldn't believe we were driving this piece of crap car that we bought for $5,000. And we were just driving, it was just our comedy car. And we would just drive the heck out of it, sleep in it, go to road stops, rest stops. And then he'd be like, come by, baby, I'll buy you lunch. And he would stack us up with food and everything out of his whatever. And just such a...
Well, we did Last Comic Standing. This is how it took off. We did Last Comic Standing. He goes by, he's going in to do a paid set. He goes, hey, what are y'all doing sleeping on the sidewalk? And we were literally the second people in line. There's no one else in line, just one guy, then me and my brother. I go, Last Comic Standing's here in 3 days. He's like, you're going to sleep on the streets of Melrose
From Friday till Monday.
And I said, yeah. And he goes, come here. He goes and grabs the manager and he goes, save their spot. They're coming inside. He loaded us up with food, drinks, put us on stage and said, I want you to see what you're doing. You're doing 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. And if I'm going to stay, you're going to do the late show too. And he let us work it out. No one else in that line got to do time there. No one else could really even go in there and use the freaking bathroom.
Yeah.
And Ralphie goes, come here. I'll be here tomorrow. And he showed up tomorrow, brought us more waters. And that's the kind of guy, because he didn't live far. He lived up in the Hollywood Hills. And that's the kind of guy he was. Then afterwards, we got a phone call because we didn't get the show. And he goes, fly to Chicago. And you're going to get on the tour bus. And I don't know when you're going home. So if you have families or whatever, you better figure that out. And I said, okay. And at the time,
we didn't have the money, so we borrowed the money and we flew to Chicago. And we made enough money and paid the person back who floated our things. And then
we were gone for 2 months.
I was just going to tell you. Yeah, we were gone for 2 months. We were supposed to go for 4 days and we stayed gone for like 54 days or something.
See that I just love this story because just the tenacity that you guys have is just it's inspiring for any comedian who might be listening to this or anybody just pursuing any passion of theirs.
Yeah,
you know
any
what I mean?
passion. And, you know, we still get paid as one act. They don't care if there's 2 of us, 5 of us, or whatever. The comedy clubs don't pay you as a duo. It's
dude,
a set.
I did a duo act
we know.
at Reagan and Watkins for
That's
a couple
right. We did
years.
shows with you at the
and-
store.
We would bond over that. I remember
know.
seeing you
That was
backstage
cool.
all the time, and we would go, "Hey guys," and,
Yeah,
you know, because
you'd see us warming up, doing like vocals and stuff like that.
Every
Yeah.
time we see a duo act, we see the Sklar's, and we don't know them too well, but we're like, man, we're always inspired by duo acts. Or
Sure.
there's a few triplet gimmicks out there and stuff, but we were always inspired every time we see a duo act, and we watch everything. We were just so impressed by seeing 2 people up
Well,
there.
Jason and Randy have a lot of stories where one of them will book it and then the other one will try to talk the other one into, hey, what about this? Like, you get twice the comedy brains, and we'll be writing and tagging it up like for free, basically, like on the show.
Yeah.
And they've convinced people, but they have certain commercials and stuff like that. They said that they had to tell the other one like they didn't get it, and the other one got it.
It's happened to us,
It's crazy.
man. It's happened so many times with all kinds of random stuff. Back in college, I got a job at the railroad and I was smoking marijuana. And I remember I was like, man, I got hired, but I need a drug test. And he's like, give me your wallet. And I'm like, what? And we swapped wallets, and Chad went in and took the urine test, and I got the job because he didn't smoke weed. And so
You sister to drug test.
We did.
yeah. And then I was pulling brand new cars off the train and pulling them onto the trailers for car dealerships. And it was an awesome college job. And Chad got me the job for taking the drug test. So we did take advantage of twin stuff a few times in our life.
I mean, yeah, that's a true sitcom moment right there.
100%.
Yeah.
For sure. 100% accurate. I remember he came home and he's like, my hair wasn't as short as his. He's all, oh, and I took a badge picture. You better shave your head. And I was like, oh, no.
Oh, man, I don't want to shave my head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's some of the benefits, and not to reiterate too much about Ralph, but that's what we learned from him. Is the main thing we learned from him is this is show business. It's a business, and you got to take it like a business. So before, I don't think we were taking it as serious. Going to these comedy clubs, not really. I wouldn't say not disrespecting the place, but we weren't respecting the place like we should. Like when you go there and you're ordering in the green room, or you're be nice to that. Be nice to the waitress, because that waitress, when you come back next year, can be the GM of this place.
I mean,
and you
yeah.
got to be nice to everybody you meet. And after we saw how Ralphie would do it, like it was a week before Christmas, we're in Houston. I'm not going to mention the comic. A comic went the weekend before and didn't tip any of the wait staff. Told the crowd, don't tip, buy merchandise. So Ralphie told Cory, go get the merch money. Stood all 20 whatever, because a Houston Improv, I'm sure you know, is huge. 20-something staff members, and Ralphie gave them 3 $100 bills, every single person in that whole line. And he did that.
It was like $6,000 or something.
It was a crazy amount of money. And he goes, it's okay. I go, what am I going to write on the balance sheet? He goes, it's okay. Like, I got it. Like, don't. Because we know we log the merch. And he's like, these people deserve it. They worked hard. We just did 7 sold out shows. He goes, and that's what we learned. Be nice to all of us. So now when we went back without him, everyone was like, oh my God, Smash Bros. Do you remember that time? And now we bond with that. Now she's the manager. And then now, and so that's how special he was. Like, I have tons of stories like that, but we learned that, like, be nice to every single person. It's not just about you telling your jokes. And we learned that. And it's
Right.
so that was one of the coolest things we ever probably learned,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys could
I could do
talk
it
for hours and hours about Ralph.
We love him, man. We
Yeah,
love him.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Do you guys have I'll just ask you one more. Do you have a favorite memory that might have happened in a green room, or something that happened maybe on the tour bus? Like, if you want to share a story.
There's so many. One time, there was a rule, no pooping on the bus.
Okay.
And Ralph had his own bathroom in the. Who cares?
I know.
I mean, tell the story. Ralph is.
I already know what you're about to say. That's
Ralph's
why I
in the
wanna know.
back bathroom, and the rule, there's no pooping.
If you're on tour, not on a bus.
You have to go to truck stops. That's the only rule. And you can tell the driver, blah, blah, blah.
And he would follow his own rule too, but I don't think he was feeling good. And so if you had to go and it was emergency, sharing with the audience here, you would line the toilet with the trash bag. And then you would sit down on the toilet, but you would do all your business into the trash bag and then bundle it up and get rid of it. And then it wouldn't sit in the septic tank. Well, Ralph didn't bother with the bag, and we're all on the bus having a good time. And this waft comes through the bus and everyone's gagging, and just all of a sudden we hear a crack. The toilet broke on Ralph and shatters the fiberglass. I mean, shattered it. Shattered the toilet into fucking splinters of pieces. And Ralph's laying on the floor. He's all, help me. He's all, somebody come in here, boys, come in. And we couldn't even open up the door, and we're dying laughing because there's a naked Ralph, completely naked, laying on the floor. The toilet's cracked in pieces. He's dying laughing, going, goddamn, I almost went out like Elvis in here. He's all, thank God you came.
And here's the best part. He was going from there to Just for Laughs. So we were taking him to the airport, okay? So we're in the middle of somewhere hot. I remember that. It was probably Texas.
Probably.
We drop him off the airport. Well, now we have a problem on the bus. He's gone.
The toilet's broke, and it's in
septic's
pieces
filled.
with crap. And so I remember Ralph gave the driver like a couple grand, and he literally had to rebuild the toilet at a truck stop and get it going because Ralph was only gone for 4 or 5 days. But the best part, and then when he came back, he's like, I'm going to test that toilet out.
Well, no, you're not.
We're like, please, whatever you do. But Ralph would shatter stools. Even we'd seen him just shatter stools. He'd sit on a stool and just shatter it out, and he'd laugh, and the crowd would eat it up and
We
laugh
got one
too.
made for him after that. I actually have it right now. I have his stool, but we had to get a metal, steel.
Yeah, for the frame to support.
Yeah. And you've seen it. It's a red stool, and so we
'cause
had it made.
I would be impressed when I would see Ralphie sit on some stools like at the store, the
We
Improv.
know. Oh, yeah.
I'm literally like, and I think the audience too is like, how much longer is that gonna last?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. When he would shatter him, he'd always go to his like, did a goddamn Quaker make this thing? You know, is this from, he'd name a crap town, but always a good spirit. And, but we'll never forget him shattering the toilet, seeing him buck naked with just.
Oh, he would just do it like, I'll tell you this last one, and then we can move on because it's stayed in my mind.
Yeah.
He liked old school hip hop, right? And if we wanted to get him up, no one could really wake up Ralphie. We could because he loved us. We could go in his room. We could do anything we want. Other openers, they probably wouldn't dare go into his room because he had guns and AK-47s and God knows what else on that bus. And we started playing Notorious B.I.G. Juicy. And so all of a sudden,
The bus starts shaking back and forth because you knew Big Boy was getting out of his bed, and the door is like Star Trek, like an air door. It'd go psh, and it open up. He's buck naked and he's dancing.
and well, Ralphie, get dressed. He's like, when the song's over, baby.
yeah, and we were like, what the?
Yeah, so stuff like that, like crazy stuff. He would just do stuff just to get reactions out of us. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, that's the best. Like when you go on the road with somebody and they do something crazy, and you're like, oh, we're friends like that now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I thought the same thing.
Like, I was like, okay, I just saw your dick. I didn't know we were friends like
Yeah,
that.
I was like, wow. The first time we seen him naked, I told Chad, I'm like, I think he really likes us. I'm like,
Yeah.
If he's
You're like,
comfortable-
I think we're special. I don't think he does this with all the openers.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh man, he loved him though. Crazy stuff like that all the flipping time, man.
yeah.
That's amazing, man. I want to know what kind of jobs were you guys working before you were really like into the stand-up world?
After college, I became a social worker.
Okay.
And I was a social worker. I did workman's comp.
Do you think that working like in social work helped you like when you guys started doing stand-up, just like having to communicate like that and
Yeah.
and just also judging character and energies and different stuff like
And
that?
being empathetic
Yeah.
and observing the room. When you're a social worker, you go in these environments where you're not sure if this either elderly or developmentally disabled person is actually being taken care of, or are they just cashing a check on this person,
Right.
and just the cupboards are empty and they're just kind of neglecting and abusing this adult, and you're their advocate. If you're not going to say anything, no one's going to say anything
Yeah.
for this person that's a ward.
You're
of the
kind of
state.
their last resort.
There's no family for a lot of those folks.
Right.
And so, yeah. And then,
I did like a lot of warehouse work, and then I would say like in the year 2000 or something, I was like, I'm tired of working hard. So I went on, this is with the internet, whatever, and I printed a UCLA bachelor's degree, and I got a job as a commodities broker. And I made like
and he bought everything on the internet.
I bought everything off the internet. I even researched like the school in case they asked me questions and stuff. And then he's like, congratulations, you're hired. He's like, we're going to give you $70,000 in your own office. He's all, your office mate next to you went to your same school and graduated the year before you. I go, no way. As soon as I walked in, the boss leaves, the door shuts. He goes, you did graduate from UCLA. And I go, fuck no, but I got the job. He's all, I'm going to like you, dude. And then I got the job. And then the best part, this is what I tell everybody, fake it till you make it. If you don't know the job, trust me, they're going to train you their way to do the job. So they trained me exactly how to be a commodities broker.
Yeah.
The market, how to read the market, how to purchase, what a limit order is, all these things that I didn't know. They taught me how to do it. All I said was, hey, I happen to graduate UCLA, but I really did it.
And he paid $149 and took a picture at like J.C. Penney and with the cap and gown. And this guy hustled off $149.
That's
and
amazing.
Got a career.
I took a passport photo once. I didn't know that you are not allowed to smile.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
So I took the hammiest of ham.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. I took like one of these, and this is approaching. I need to like go to Montreal for comedy festival,
Right.
And I get it in the mail, and they're like, you took a fraudulent picture, whatever the wording was, and they attached the photo, and it's so obnoxious. I'm like, of course I got denied. Like, this is just me asking for it. But I almost missed a trip to do stand-up because I had to expedite the passport, and then I was all freaked out that I wasn't going to get there. I'm like, am I really not going to go to Canada because of a dumb joke that I did?
And of all borders, that Canadian border does not mess
they
around.
Do not, dude. If you have a DUI or anything in your past, like, you're most likely not getting in.
Yeah, 100%.
They came on the bus. They did not joke. One at a time. Come talk to me. You
Ran
come
a
off
dog
the bus.
through the bus. The driver did have a DUI like 20-something years ago, and they ran him through the ringer, and he almost didn't get through, and we were there hours.
But we can go to Mexico right now, and you can have heroin in your pocket. You know what I mean? It's like,
Dude.
you know what I mean? Like the Mexico border, you could do it. You could roll right through it. And I mean, I go down to Tijuana sometimes with my friends and eat tacos and then walk back over. They don't care. You can go in and out right now. Even during the pandemic, they don't care. But Canada, man, it was crazy.
Yeah, have you ever been messed with in Tijuana, like when you've gone there?
Well, we've seen some shenanigans or been offered.
Yeah.
This one guy came up and he had a truck full of like there was monkeys and parrots and lizards, and he's like, and we could have bought a tiger, and I told you, I was like, he's like $300, and it was like a white tiger, and I remember telling my brother, I was like, let's buy this flipping tiger.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, fuck
I'm like,
this
we're not
piggy bank. I'm like, let's get this tiger.
I was more for the monkey, you know, so I could have the monkey run around and I collect change and stuff.
Right. But you're trying to teach him how to pickpocket.
Exactly. He was a cute little monkey. He had a little hat and everything.
But we've been offered, because we look rough characters, so we've been offered every drug under the sun. We've had a lot of shenanigans happen, and then get pulled over. And
it's weird that like how surface level when somebody sees your look, because when like they'll judge you right away. Like when I had long hair, dude, the amount of times where I got asked or asked if I sold weed was crazy.
Yeah.
Like just like because I'd like be on a skateboard rolling around LA, long hair. People were like, hey, you holding anything? Like you got anything?
Yeah.
Like
and
hey.
you don't even drink.
And I'm just like, I'm just trying to skateboard.
yeah, we get offered. People come up to us like, hey man, you guys got any this or that? And we're like, dude,
or they think we're bikers or anything. It's like we don't do anything dangerous, like anything.
Right.
Like we never smoked cigarettes. Like we're completely. I wouldn't ruin the thing, for
So
our
you've
image.
never smoked cigarettes?
I think we did twice in our whole life, and like a puff, and
we've
I
never
threw up.
even done hard drugs.
How have you always had the raspy, deep voice?
Yeah, I have no idea why.
Because it's super low.
Yeah, I have no idea why. I could never do like the Ric Flair woo. It would. I could even.
I can't reach that.
Yeah, it's like more like woo. Like I can't do it. But I don't know. It's just, and the older I get, it's getting worse. So I don't know. It's like
it just keeps getting
like
lower
if we
and lower.
do like 6-7 shows in a weekend, I have to drink tea and honey because by the 7th show, the 7th hour we've done or 6th hour, my voice is.
And we're like you. We're high energy and jumping around, and I mean, we're not just standing still. I mean, we
I've
get
had to
into
be
it.
a little bit smarter because when you're doing like 5 or 6 hours over a weekend, that's such a different game than when you're doing just little spots around town, these 15-20 minute spots. You can kind of go as hard as you want, but like in the grand scheme of the weekend, you're like, I gotta like eat right.
Totally.
If you're being like physical and stuff,
Yes.
dude, my first shows this weekend, I didn't get enough sleep like a couple days before I went to Addison.
We love that club.
Dude, so fun.
Oh man.
Like I just had a blast there. It was great. I was cramping up the first and the second show doing certain act outs, and I was like, I gotta do some deep sleep tomorrow and eat some healthy stuff because I'm like I was feeling like twitches and stuff like mid act
We're
outs.
exactly like you, and we'll go get coconut water.
Pedialyte.
and
I have Pedialyte in the car right now.
Yeah.
And then we eat. We're like, okay, let's go get a crazy salad and a bunch of fruit, and we'll go down to the continental breakfast because I mean, as you know, comics live off that continental breakfast.
Dude,
and
we cleared out.
I did the thing where like I'll wake up at 6 or 6:30 in the morning, eat so much, bring it back to to the room, and then I'll pass out for like 3 or 4 more hours.
Yeah, us too. And we'll if there's no fridge for whatever reason, we'll go get ice and turn our sink in the bathroom into our. So there's yogurts and granola and 2 bananas.
You have your own buffet like every day. Like, what do I want today?
Yeah, I'm like, oh man,
There's toothpaste in this ice. It's so weird.
Yeah, but that Addison Club is a lot of fun. I know you had a blast, and they were real complimentary. I saw their post about you. I know you just killed it out there, but we missed that club. That club's a very, very fun club.
It's a fun one, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It was a good time. Yeah, they've got some wild. It's just Texas in general. Like people, like when they want to come out and have fun at those shows, it's like, oh, let's go. Like gloves are coming off tonight.
100. And the crowds are very energetic, and you never know. I mean, it ranges from cowboys to the craziest sports guys. It's like very.
I had a woman. This has never happened. I've had it happen one other time where when somebody like every once in a while you'll see somebody like nodding off because they had too much to drink.
Yeah.
Woman stone cold out in the front row, and I'm having a great set. Everybody's laughing, and of course, as a comic, the only thing you see is the sleeping person. And I was like, "What is going?" Like it was crazy.
Dude, it's hard not to address.
Dude, that's the club. We did that club. That's the club where the guy drank too many Red Bull vodkas, and then Ralph says, "Hey, catch him!" And he went boom right onto the stage, fell out of his chair,
and started having a seizure.
And we had to stop the show. And Ralphie was so calm. And the guy woke up and he's like, I'm not leaving. I'm here. I paid to see you. And Ralph's like, you need to go get looked at, baby cakes. Like, you're not doing good. He's like, it's just Red Bull vodka. I'm fine. He refused it.
And the show kept
going after it. And the paramedics are there. Everyone's working on him. And then show went right back on. And afterwards, I forgot what it's called. There's like a little piano thing across the way.
A dueling piano
bar.
Yeah. We went there and the guy ended up buying us drinks and whatever. But crazy. Texas can be crazy, dude.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is wild.
It is wild. That is wild.
I want to get into this final segment. Is called Sax Talk. Oh, Sax Talk.
This story happened in Las Vegas and
Sin City.
We just did a show, and I'm getting off stage, and a young lady, probably 25, 24. Keep in mind, I'm 40, whatever, at the time. And she comes up, and we're talking, and we're having a good time. And
great time.
She has a friend, Corey's. We just call him the fisherman. He just fishes them up, and then he releases them back to the wild.
I'm catch and release.
So I should have prefaced this. We always, on the West Coast, or as you know, at the Dirty Show, we always have an interpreter for the sign language. And so I have my lesbian interpreter. She's my road dog, one of my good friends. Her name's Mel. And she's interpreting to the other friend for me. Okay? So Corey's making them all laugh, and we have our interpreter. And plus, by having an interpreter, we have a witness, if you will. So shots are being made and everyone's having a good time. And she wants to go back to the room up in the top floor.
I told Chad, I was like, you know what? I would swap rooms and use Ralphie's penthouse and really impress this girl. And Chad's like, man, do you think Ralph, I go, he'll be busy for a couple hours. Get his key card. And so Chad went up to the top suite.
And then I just started ordering up room service and just, trying to show her a good time, So it's me, my interpreter, her friend, and it's just basically me and two women. But my interpreter's only there for moral support to kind of help ease this in, So we're having a good time.
Great time.
My interpreter thinks it's time to leave. And I'm like, no, don't leave. Like, I'm not feeling it yet. Hang out. My interpreter starts flirting with her now. Now I'm competing with my interpreter over the attention. And I was the headliner, okay? You're the interpreter, okay? So we're having a good time. I could see that she's kind of leaning towards the interpreter and you've met her, Mel is quite the charmer.
I would agree.
Like Corey always says, you would never bring.
I would never bring my girlfriend around her because even if your girlfriend's never experienced an endeavor with another lady, she'll definitely turn your girl into a believer.
So we're having a great time. Way too many shots of Fireball, by the way. Way too many. And so my interpreter's like, hey, do you think it's cool, like, if I take her to my room? And I said, hey, what the hell, man? She's like, she goes, I don't think it's going to work for you anyway. You know, she's like, she's kind of vibing. We're vibing. And I'm like, vibing? I'm like, what the hell's vibe? I'm like, okay. So they end up leaving the penthouse that I worked hard for. Okay. I had to talk Ralph into it. I had to get the key card. I had to do all this shit. So the interpreter ends up going, they go to that girl's room. The interpreter ends up turning, and then we forgot to mention, she is getting married. So she's on her little bachelorette party.
Getting married the very next week.
Next week, somewhere, wherever the hell she lived. Our interpreter ended up hooking up with her at that girl's room. And now they still talk to this day, like lesbian counter affairs online.
Chad's still bitter that he lost this girl. And I told Chad, I go, the reason you lost her is I think she kind of rationalized it. Like she's not cheating by not having sex with another guy, but having a hookup with the girl doesn't count.
So I guess the main lesson here is always have a lesbian friend, but watch your back, you know?
Dude. I mean, I think that might be the first Sax Talk where a girl stole the sex straight out from underneath a guy.
I made fun of my brother for probably this happened just before the pandemic, so we've been laughing about it through the whole pandemic.
You gotta laugh about it.
That's all I can do now. But every month when I see her, I'll see her this Wednesday at the Improv. When I see her, it's the first thing I say to her. I go, remember, you don't go to meet and greets, you go back to the green room. We're the headliners around here. You have to try to swing it around for her, let her know. Well, she's the sweetest person, and
That's
it's
so
okay.
funny.
At least she picked up one on the road, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. Is there anything that you guys want to plug or anything coming up?
Follow us on social media. All of our platforms are the same. It's Cory, the letter N, Chad. So it's CORY, the letter N, CHAD. Instagram, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. That's where we're at. We're just now, we haven't been venturing out. We've only probably done 40 sets, maybe 45 sets since the pandemic. And we're just now, I know you've been hitting the road and hitting it hard. We're just now, so we're months behind you. We got
Arkansas, we have Vegas, Phoenix.
So we're just now hitting the road, but it feels good to start doing comedy again. And we're vaccinated and we're ready to get out there and rock and roll, you know?
But we appreciate you having us. I mean, it was so fun. We always look forward to seeing you, so we really appreciate it. Like,
absolutely. And I've shared this story a long time ago on the show, but I want to remind my viewers about this story, about this sax right here. This sax is very special to me because our brother Ralphie May had a big part of me purchasing this saxophone. And it was one of those things where I was doing the road a lot years ago with our pal Tony Hinchcliffe.
Right,
and
love Tony.
There was a Nashville gig in December that I couldn't do because I was going home to visit family.
Right.
And so he asked Tony asked Ralphie to open for him as a favor. And Ralphie, of course, nicest guy ever, is like, yeah, no problem. You know, no ego on that guy ever.
None.
And Tony was checking his text messages after Ralphie passed away, and he had seen that Ralphie wanted to give me his paycheck for that night, even though I couldn't be there. And I used that money to help buy the sax.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So every time I play the sax, I think of Ralphie. So
Man, I'm glad you shared that with us. We love hearing stories from other comics. You know, he's bought teeth for people, saxophones, cars, you know, all kinds of cars. So, man.
That's amazing. And that's good. I'm glad you have it. And, you know, and obviously you take good care of it. And that's awesome. I'm glad you have it, man. That's amazing.
yeah, so I love you, brothers, and
We love
thank you so
you,
much for doing the
man.
show, man.
Thanks for having us.
Jeremiah,